Welcome travelers, I'm Free2Play and I'm your guide for a successful free-to-play adventure on Terra. And today I have a very important question for you guys. Do you remember that cutscene? And do you know who that is? He's called Lolo and is one of the 11 4-stars which we did not see in the global version yet. Now, together with Moment, YouTube link below, I present you all of them. Let's see if they're missable for ieren, shall we? Like Hanit and Xanta, this hunter with a light element also has a pet called Lulu, which gets 30% damage up and he gives his row 10% attack up passive, which he didn't have yet. Lulu attacks with stuff. He attacks with light 2 times and with the bow 3 times at random. His AoE inflicts blindness with a moderate chance and can even attack 2 times with a light AoE. Apart from 3 times random, he can single target with a bow too. But his last skill returns back to being random target, but 4 times bow attack. In his ultimate, he'll do that again and Lulu attacks with 600 potency altogether. Lolo is not the only hunter we're missing. The second one is called Narr, who is dark elemental and is half of a wingate and reduces SP cost at full HP. Neat! He attacks the enemy only once with a bow, can buff his attack by 15% and casts dark on a single target. He's the second hunter apart from Ashland who guarantees to crit an attack. Ashland poisons medium chance and Narr blinds the enemy. He only hits once AoE if we're comparing Lolo and Narr, but he has a nuke of 220 potency, and this is what Lolo is missing. His ultimate has also a medium chance of blinding the opponent, and the bow part of that attack is a little better than Lolo. But both have different uses, so we should stop comparing from now on. The Thunder apothecary Cornelia heals 20% stronger with her first passive, but her second reduces the SP cost of her row by 10%. That's new. She heals single target, deals X damage single target, gives regen to a single ally, but AoEs with Thunder. That's surprising. We continue with a stronger version of the single ally heal, which, we remind ourselves, is 20% stronger. And surprise surprise, single ally regen a bit stronger than the previous version. And single target X nuke. So her second passive and now her ultimate, which reduces 40% SP cost for 2 turns and heals hard, are the only skills really worth thinking about Cornelia putting in your roster. Kenneth is an ice scholar with an interesting passive. He restores 5% SP a turn in the back row for the front, which is 25 SP on a unit with 500 SP for instance. Amazing! He's got 1 ice spell single target and reveals up to 4 weaknesses, casts 1 time AoE and casts 2 times ice on a single target. He's the only unit I currently know of being able to hit with Tome 3 times on a single target, and can also debuff ice resistance of a single enemy, and can cast 2 times ice AoE as his last skill, but his ultimate does this too, with a little more potency and can hit up until 5 times, which would even hit harder than Eleonora, an ice unit I wish to put into my ice squad. This Staff and Fire Elemental user is Efrain, who concentrates on staff damage, like Yanlong does, so he kinda is the 4-star version of him. He single targets with stuff and can also regen a single ally. He even stuff AoEs, what Yanlong misses, but his single target fire skill does not reduce his stuff resistance. He can hit 3 times with a stuff like Madeleine and can heal with a relatively high potency. But his stats focus more on attack, so this is necessary here. And he nukes with his last skill and hard with his ultimate. So Mini Long would be good for everyone missing on the Big Brother. Once I thought Varkin was the last good Odette, but there already was a 4-star. Levan has the exact same passive and reveals 1 weakness at the start of the battle. He casts 1 single target light attack, reveals even more weaknesses, hits light once AoE and 2 times single target. His kit also offers 1 stronger light single target attack, 2 times tome single target and a stronger AoE which hits 1 time. His ultimate is a 500 potency nuke, so overall his kit is nothing too special, but it's funny to see a unit apart from Odette with the same skill without equip like Varkin. Speaking of interesting passives, here comes Cerna, the dark polearm user. Her normal attack has an opportunity to inflict 10% polearm defense down. Which unit has something like that? Her first skill is already a 2-hit single target and she can buff herself with 15% physical attack up. She strikes the enemy with 1 polearm single target and 2 at random, reducing the speed like Helga or Kedona. Her second random polearm hits 2 times and reduces the physical attack by 15% by 2 turns. Her only dark skill hits 2 times single target and she nukes with 220 potency. Her ultimate hits almost 400 potency on a single target and inflicts 5% physical attack and speed down for 2 turns. So her ultimate is a combination of the 2 random polearm skills she has. That's cool. Brigitte is a stuff user which does not have any elemental skills in her kit. She concentrates on healing and buffing, and that's why her SP is reduced when she has red HP, and when her HP is lower then she is 20% faster. She can single target with stuff though, and has a full front roll heal. She can give herself 20% more healing power for X turns, a very unique skill. She gives the front row 15% magical defense buff, which is still a rare skill nowadays, and inflicts 15% magical attack down for 2 turns with a single target staff. She has a stronger full front heal and she can reduce the duration of certain debuffs to single ally, which, yeah, why not use rehabilitate then? Immunity for certain turns would be a lot better here. And her ultimate is another front row healing, which is a bit better than Eliza's normal skills. So her kit started very well but ended like it just ends. Next up is Paula, a dark elemental dancer. And there are all the missing dark units. Like Kenneth, she is an ultimate dragon scarf to the front, and if she's switching rows, the full front row gets regen for 2 turns. Damn. Her first dark skill is an AoE and she buffs the whole front row crit by 10%. She continues with a stronger dark AoE and a fan AoE. She can also inflict dark resistance down for X turns, so you don't need the 3-star Dory anymore if you do not have Primrose. And she can raise the crit of the front row by 15% too. And has an even stronger dark AoE, but all of them are only hitting once. And what a surprise, her ultimate is a dark AoE inflicting dark resistance down 5% for 2 turns. A character which has so much potential alone with her passives in a physical team. Before we getting to the last unit, which is also dark, I'll show you Durand, who gives himself and his row partner speed and physical attack up by 20% for 3 turns. So with Lynette or Eleonora, we could finally cap the 30% now with these 2 passives alone. He uses 2 times dagger attack single target, does the same with light, can heal his HP equal to 20% of the damage dealt with a single dagger attack, and can inflict physical defense down for 2 turns with a single dagger attack too. He can break 2 shields regardless of the enemy's weakness, and hits 2 times with light even harder than before. And he can cure 30% of the damage dealt with 2 dagger attacks, so even a little better than Viola, if she did not have her passive. And then he heals himself only with dagger AoE as an ultimate, a character which has lots of potential. And as promised, here comes the last unit, which is also dark, and the only missing warrior, Jorn. His passives are almost the same as Scarecrow's, but the crit up does not target him alone, it also hits the ally in the same row. Who is the 5-star now? He hits 2 sword attacks single target, has 1 sword AoE, buffs himself with 15% crit up to boost his crit even more. He has a stronger sword AoE, hits 2 times dark to a single enemy, and has 2 3-hit sword attacks which hits random targets, one with 50 potency and one with 80. And on top of that, he can hit up to 6 times with a random sword and a potency of 85 in his ultimate. What an amazing sword unit! To sum it up, there is not a single unit here which is useless or would not be used in certain builds today in EN. And to give you my opinion here, EN doesn't want us to have those units because they are too good and would make few battles less hard, and our tolerance to win battles with the same old units would be very time demanding. Isn't it better to invest a few rubies to get the 5 stars from the newest banner every Wednesday to finally win those belts then? Well, that's my opinion, so feel free to argue in the comments or in my newest Discord group. And if you'd like this channel or the one from Moment to Class Up, I really appreciate a subscription and thumbs up. See you next time, your free to player.